Hello everyone, I am OmnusI here once more with another question for RPG A Day from the RPG Brigade from Facebook. Today's day 11, and the question is, what is your wildest character name? That's actually kind of a tough one for me because I usually try very, very hard to have character names that fit the world. I'm kind of one of those DM dream players that, they're not going to make Joe Bob the fighter or, some kind of double entendre name or anything like that. The craziest name I've probably ever made. Okay, there's two that come to mind. One was for a video game, though, so I'm not sure if it counts, but it was The Lord of the Rings Online. They had a character class called a captain who was kind of a fighter, not a very good fighter, but they could summon a helper to help them out who could give them bonuses and things like that. They were a great support character, which I usually play support characters, so it was fine. And he was a captain, and I named him Antonil. Captain Antonil, for those of you who just Google Muskrat Love if you've never heard of them. They're memorable. As far as a GM NPC, I had a halfling thief, second edition, thief, named Lawrence Sticky Buns. That's kind of wild. Not terribly wild. His parents were bakers, but it's a little wild. About as much as I get. I had a werewolf named Fangface. He was one of my favorite characters, actually. He was in a god-awful group, but he was for those of you who know Werewolf the Apocalypse, he was a bone gnar lupus theurge. So he was born in a zoo. So he was more dog than person. But he was lovable. Yeah, I don't make wild characters very often. I like to try to make ones that blend in as best as I can. I'm really, this is one that kind of has me at a loss. So, we'll look up an alternate question. Most memorable character retirement. This is an alternate prompt. This one might be actually kind of useful for people who are looking for advice on, playing style and stuff like that. I was playing a game called Exalted, also made by White Wolf, but not quite in their World of Darkness series. It kind of took on the form of a kind of an anime style with over-the-top combats where people are moving impossibly fast, and it was all set up with a kind of a mythic Chinese flair to it. If you think Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, it's a lot like that. Wushu or Wuxia, or I'm not really up on that, but it was interesting. And the group we had, well, first of all, I was playing pretty much your archetypal paladin character. He was named Dawn Strider. He was a Dawn cast. He was, just nothing subtle. Your tank fighter. All of his stuff is about being able to wreck anything that he came across and being able to take just about anything. He was my very first Exalted character. So I made him over the top, we're going to fix the world, because the world's really broken if you get into Exalted. It's got an interesting storyline. So my character was, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make the guy that's gonna fix everything. He's gonna be good. He's gonna save people. He's going to do things the right way. Fortunately, I didn't really pay attention to what everyone else was making. We had one person who was playing an Abyssal Exalted. Those are basically, if I was an angel, he was the devil. But he was masquerading. For anybody who was familiar with the world, he had plenty of clues that should have clued me in, but he was a more experienced player. So he was already loaded with combos and a perfect dodge and all the basic things that you end up with if you've made a character before. You want to have all the stuff you'll need. I didn't have any of that stuff. So Had we gotten into a fight, he would have owned me easily. But he was that. We had a spellcaster. I'm a little lax on the terminology because it's been years. But we had a spellcaster who just wanted to see the world burn. He wanted to get the most destruction possible. That's all he wanted. He just wanted to blow things up. That was it. The other people in the group were also morally neutral at best. So we had me, who was the face of the group, and was like, we're going to do everything. We had one person who was actively working against that, trying to subvert people and make it all go bad. And the player himself who was playing the Abyssal was kind of a... He liked playing antagonist characters. He could be a real distraction. Unfortunately, he did push me quite a bit to be better, but it just got to be too much, and he's now no longer with our group. Yeah, the guy was a good guy, and he was good to talk to and everything like that. It's just, and sometimes I regret he's still not around because he was a good player when he wanted to work with the group and help out. It just he could get a bone in his craw too easily. So anyhow, I looked at all of the headache that I had with this group. They clearly didn't want to do what I wanted to do with my character. So finally, I just said, you know what? We found somebody who had similar ideals to my character. Much different way of doing things. Called the Bull of the North if you're into reading the fiction and everything. He's a good guy, but he's got a more brutal tone than Dawnstrider did. But he was a much more experienced, exalted character, so I was going to go and work with him, and we were going to do some awesome stuff together. I retired basically by acknowledging that my goals, though I was the archetypal hero, I was a character that you could easily build a story around the actions of. I didn't fit the group. And by not fitting the group, I was the person who was on the outside looking in, and that's why my character just couldn't stomach the actions of everyone else. But when everyone else is okay and you're the one who's got the problem, you're the one who's got the problem. So I switched characters. My next character was like a drugged out rock star. Just wanted to do awesome stuff. And the first time I was going to do this awesome mega concert and everything, I only served to spread this horrible plague through the city, and that didn't go so well. And the game died because they needed my moral direction to go forward in the storyline. And the storyteller was a little rocky on his commitment to keep going, I think. So it all died fairly quickly after that. But it was memorable because it taught me a lesson. You've got to pay attention to who you're going along with. You can't always just stick together because it's a convention that your group sticks together. Which is, taught me a lesson. So it was quite memorable that way. Very seldom have I actually had a character who has retired in a game because I mostly run games, and most of my games that I've played in ended rather than have a successful denouement ending and everything like that. A better one would probably have been the most awful character retirement, because I could tell that one, but that'll be a story for another time. But that was my 11th day contribution, and I hope you enjoyed it. I am OmnusI here once more in my Lair of OmnusI. Thank you for watching, and I will see all of you next time here in the Lair of OmnusI. Thank you, and farewell.